I'd been up late. I got home late from work, and I stayed up late watching television after my family was asleep. And I think I was eating a bag of Jack in the Box cheeseburgers. I had like what you call, a friend of mine calls the window diet. If you can roll down the window and somebody hands it to you, you eat it, and that's kind of how I was subsisting at the time. And you know, it was time to go to bed. Was walking up the stairs, and about halfway up the staircase, like I had to stop. Like I was out of breath. I was buckled over, sweat on my brow, tightness in my chest. And it scared me. I thought that I was on the precipice of having a heart attack, and I thought, you know, I'm 39, like I had to take a break walking up a simple flight of stairs. You know, I need to do something about this.
For me, you know, pain has always been the only thing that could ever motivate me to change my errant ways, you know? So when I see people in pain and or struggling, I look at that as a gift. You know, that's your divine moment. You know, that's your opportunity. You know, try to you know, leverage that and catalyze that into change, because willingness is super important, and you cannot compel somebody to be willing. That willingness has to be internally driven. And the gift that I received was to have that internal drive and willingness to make these shifts. Let's really be grateful for what we have in front of us, the blessings that we have. I mean, look at the world that we live in. I mean, we're so lucky, man.
It's amazing.
We're so lucky.
Blessed.
Human beings have never, you know, in the history of humankind, like, we've never had it so good.
It's amazing.
And yet we walk around resentful and we're pissed off because this guy didn't call us back or whatever it is, you know, just to like stop and say, you know, for right now, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And let's just be present with it.
My default, and I think the sort of common default mental position is to go, well, I'll just wait until I feel better, or like, you know, I'll wait till a little later on, then I'll get to it, you know, when my emotions shift. And you have to realize that mood follows action. It's not the other way around. So when you take the action in spite of however you feel, realizing it's just how I feel, it's just a feeling, it's not going to kill me, I can feel it. And then to take action in contrast to that anyway, that's how you shift how you feel about that scenario. And that's how I get out of those sort of holes that I can dig for myself, whether they're physical or emotional. It's really important to have a goal. When I don't have a goal, my whole process kind of devolves, and then every day becomes haphazard and happenstance. But when I set a goal, even if it's far in the future, for a race or a challenge or something like that, then I can create structure around that and programs that orient me towards that. So set a goal and then hold yourself accountable to that goal by being public about it. Tell your friends, post on Facebook, you know, get yourself on the hook so that you'll be embarrassed if you don't follow through. And you'd be surprised how much that will motivate you. For me, you know, balance is the thing that I'm always trying to focus on. Like, how can I pursue this thing that for whatever reason I'm attracted to and still maintain balance in my life? Because if my relationship with my wife gets derailed or I'm not seeing my kids, like, what is the point of all of this? You know, so I always, you know, am always kind of making lists, making sure that my priorities are in check. And we're not taught that it's okay to share our feelings or to connect with one another, to be vulnerable. You know, and we're taught that being vulnerable or showing emotions is a sign of weakness. And I've actually come to understand the opposite, which is that vulnerability, to be able to be vulnerable, is the greatest strength that you can have. Because to be vulnerable in the presence of another shows that you have a sense of self, a strong sense of self, that you're not threatened by that. And I've experienced through the writing of my book and talks like I gave tonight and all over the country, that when I have the courage to be vulnerable in a public venue or in a one-on-one situation like this, that's where magic can happen, because you're being authentic to who you are.
We all have so much greater control over our health than we sort of walk around believing. Like, we sort of abdicate our health choices to our doctor, and we think that our doctors know everything. And you know, the truth is that, you know, really in medical school, they don't really teach nutrition. It's like an elective course. Most of them don't know any more about nutrition than the average person who spends a little bit of time researching it.
Sure.
And my call to action really is to take control of that decision-making process for yourself, and to understand that that you can dictate your longevity and your emotional state and your physical state by making better choices, and not just by doing it in a short-term way, but doing it in a way that works within the construct of your life so that it's sustainable.
You know, a real lasting, permanent way to change their habits that's going to have long-term health benefits, you know, prevent heart disease, turn off cancer cells, prevent diabetes, like all these there's just, you know, a litany of amazing, you know, health benefits and reasons why it's a good idea. So, you know, I think that it's advisable and that, you know, maybe you should try it for 30 days and see what you think. One of the biggest things that I'm learning more and more about is factory farming and the environmental implications of eating a plant-based diet. You know, the way that our food is prepared, the way it's made, and the way that animals are treated in that. And it's been, you know, shocking and eye-opening. You know, the biggest impact I think that you can have on the environment is avoiding animal products in your diet.
All you have to do is to commit your life entirely to something. And this will result in one of two outcomes. Either you will succeed, or you will die trying, which in and of itself is its own form of success. Allow yourself to fail and fail and fail again, and when all is lost, you pick yourself up off the floor and you go the extra mile. I can't promise you that this path will translate into success the way that our society inappropriately defines the term. Financial reward, fancy friends, accolades. I can't even promise you a single Facebook like, but I can absolutely guarantee you that this exploration will infuse your life with a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose that no destination via shortcut could ever rival. Happiness.